Hello, this is Joseph from ibl.ai, and I will be taking you through our new PR review agent. This agent is specifically made to review pull requests, offer suggestions, try to identify potential bugs and security issues within that pull request. So I have a repository here. I'm first going to show you how the configuration is done. This is straightforward. We are using the GitHub webhook system, which you could integrate per organization or per repository. Now in this setup, I am showing a per repository setup. Okay, so I navigate into the repository settings and then webhooks, tap to add a new webhook, and I fill in the configuration as shown here. First, I have my data manager domain, and the API goes to /API AI mentor orgs. Then my platform key or my tenant key, which is main in this particular case, and then webhooks, GitHub, and pull request. Now the content type, I set it as application JSON. For security, we don't set any. We make sure enable SSL verification is done. And for the event triggers, those we are interested in, first you have to choose, let me select individual events, and then go down and select the pull request event. And then finally, we can mark this as active and then save. And with that, our webhook system is set and targeted. Should you ever forget the URL, you can simply navigate into our Swagger docs on ibl.ai app, API docs schema as Swagger, or navigate into the IBL public docs website, where you can also find the URL. So here under the AI mentor URL, I can simply search for pull requests, and this is the webhook URL. Remember, org here is your platform key or your tenant key. Now with this configured, okay, which is also configured across multiple repositories here at ibl.ai, I am going to create a pull request in one of these said repositories. Now over here I have added a new component to integrate with Azure OpenAI chat, and I am going to create this pull request. Now after a bit of time, and whilst this runs, to show you, you would also need to make sure that you have configured a credential for GitHub in your tenant or your platform in the data manager, just as you configure one for OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. You also need to have an API key set for GitHub corresponding to your tenancy in order for this to work. This can be a fine-grained token from GitHub, or can be a personal access token. Ideally, you would want to make a fine-grained token in order to avoid it getting out of bounds. Okay, now you see a review just came in, right? And we can go through. There is a general message here, quite a lengthy one, providing recommendations on me using asynchronous variants as to executing tasks in thread, which in this particular case, in the context, I had to use an exec in thread, so I am going to skip over that advice for now. Then there are a lot others, like a mention of a redundant assignment to API key here, which I am going to fix. That is a nice catch over there. And then there is the prep messages logic, which could better benefit from some optimizations, which I can then look into and make better. Okay, so here is a detailed mention, a comment pointing out the exact line I need to update this exec in thread calls and then the message preparations in there. So we also have our redundant variable assignment that I also need to look into, and then we have some exception handling, which I am advised to make more robust. Okay, do keep in mind the key here, the user shown here corresponds to whatever user who generated the fine-grained token that I am using for this agent to use to run. Hence, ideally, you should make sure you have a fine-grained token that has read access to your repository, and then has specifically pull request review, and pull request review comments access to the said repository in question. Okay, making it fine-grained and making sure that your key doesn't get too much access than it needs is essential. Security first. Thank you very much. See you another time.